Hi, good morning to all. Today we are going to start about macroeconomics. This is a separate branch of economics different from microeconomics. Macroeconomics, if we go to the fundamental of macroeconomics, then we can say the word macro is being derived from Greek word macro, which means large. The word macro is derived from the Greek word macros, which means large. We need to study a separate section about macroeconomics. It is being different from microeconomics. Micro, it means small, whereas macro, it means large. The concept, the term macro is being derived from the Greek word macro. Macro means large. We can say in macroeconomics, we study the economy as a whole. We study the economy at a large. For example, it is better for you to understand the concept of macroeconomics if you probably relate to micro. When you talk about microeconomics, we are studying a consumer, we are studying a producer, we are studying a farm, we are studying about the industry in microeconomics. In microeconomics, we study about individual economic units, individual economic segments. But when it comes to macroeconomics, we have to study economy as a whole. Everything we have to study economy as a whole. So we can say macroeconomics is study about economy as a whole. This is the very practical meaning of macroeconomics. Macroeconomics is study about economy as a whole. When you talk about income, it refers to national income or total income in macroeconomics. When you talk about saving, then it refers to total saving. When you talk about investment, it refers to total investment under the study of macroeconomics. Every concept, every variable you study under macroeconomics is about all. It includes everything at large. It includes everything at large. That is why we are studying every concept as a whole under macroeconomics. So we have defined macroeconomics is the economics that study economy as a whole. It studies the aggregate of variables. It studies the aggregates of variables. Here are two terms: aggregate, totality of variables, totality of economic units. For example, aggregates refers to totality plus economic units. This is one more precise meaning of macroeconomics. We are studying macroeconomics. When we are talking about macroeconomics, we are talking about the aggregate of variables or the totality of economic units. So we can say in clear, when we study about macroeconomics, we study economy as a whole. We study economy as a large. For example, we study when you talk about income, then you talk about national income. When you talk about saving, we talk about total saving. When you talk about employment, we talk about total employment. When you talk about output, refers to total output. So macroeconomics in practical is the study of all the variables at national level. That is why it is sometimes something different from microeconomics, and we have to study macroeconomics as a separate branch of economics. One more point I would like to tell you that the origin of macroeconomics in today's world, the origin of macroeconomics in nowadays can be traced back to the 1929 worldwide depression. 1929, we had to face a worldwide depression. For example, we have seen a global economic crisis in 1929. Global economic crisis means you understand, for example, there is a fall in demand, there is a fall in employment, there is a fall in output, there is a fall in every economic indicators. So, that onwards, we get a lesson. It is indispensable for us, it is important for us to study every variable at last to assess ourselves, to evaluate ourselves. That is why from 1929 onwards, for example, we have particularly focused on the development of macroeconomics, and nowadays it is immensely helpful in different policy making nowadays, for example. So we can conclude macroeconomics is study about all the economy as a whole, or we can tell macroeconomics is about the study about aggregate of economic variables, or we can say we are studying economic variables or economic units in totality. This is all about the brief introduction of macroeconomics. Literally say, we can say macro is being derived from the Greek word macros, which means large, which means in totality, for example. This is all about your macroeconomics. Now, for example, we will move to our second segment regarding our macroeconomics. We can have a discussion, and the discussion related to components of macroeconomics, for example. What are the variables that is related to macroeconomics? What is the scope of macroeconomics? Which field, which segment we are relating to macroeconomics we are going to study, for example. Take for example, while you talk about macroeconomics, we relate basically about the theory of price. We have to be very clear, when you talk about macroeconomics, we basically relate ourselves to the theory of price. Theory of price in that sense, we are determining the price of factors, we are determining the price of a product in microeconomics. But basically, macroeconomics is about the theory of income, or the theory of employment, for example. So we will have a discussion about the components of macroeconomics. The first component, for example, regarding macroeconomics, about your economic growth and national income. The first component, the first and foremost component of macroeconomics is about economic growth. Now let us understand the concept. What do we mean by economic growth? Economic growth implies the increase, the rise in national income of a country over a long period of time. That is basically called economic growth. For example, it is a concept related to developed countries, it is a concept related to developing countries. Nowadays, economic growth becomes a major concept, for example, all over the world, because all countries are targeting to increase, to raise their level of national income. That is why it becomes indispensable in macroeconomics. We study economic growth. Economic growth implies rise in national income, increase in national income over a long period of time. That is what economic growth. And as I told you, economic growth itself implies a rise, an increase in national income. National income refers to the total income of the country. When the total income of the country rises or increases or grows over a long period of time, you should remember that national income must increase over a long period of time, not over a short period. It must increase over a long period of time, so that, for example, a country can go for an economic growth. And as we are focusing on discussion about economic growth, it is also essential to discuss about national income. In national income, we are relating to different methods of calculating national income. For example, we can say in national income we have three methods to calculate. There are income method, second one is expenditure method, then your output method or product method, for example. So national income is about totality of income, and it relates to also different methods of calculation or estimation of national income. And basically there are three methods of calculating national income. One is your income method, one is your product method, and one more is your output method, for example. Sorry, expenditure method. This is all about national income, different methods, then social accounting, all are a part of national income. The problems involved in the calculation of national income, for example, all are a part of national income. So the first and foremost component of macroeconomics lies in the theory of economic growth and national income is the first point, for example. Coming down to point number 2, for example, macroeconomics also studies about the theory of unemployment, the problem of unemployment, employment and unemployment. These are also the main concerns of macroeconomics. When you talk about unemployment, for example, because when it comes to unemployment, you should have some more idea about unemployment, for example. It is due to, for example, in macroeconomics, it is mentioned that unemployment arises, unemployment comes, unemployment, as all of you know, it is a situation when persons are not getting employed throughout the year, throughout the time. This is called unemployment, and this situation is due to, in economic theory, unemployment is due to, in macroeconomics theory, unemployment is due to lack of effective demand, for example. You can see, we will focus on the study of unemployment. So when it comes to unemployment, then we are sure to study about how it comes. It comes due to lack of effective demand, and effective demand depends on aggregate supply and aggregate demand. I tell you in the beginning, when we talk about macroeconomics, we are always talking about aggregate of variables. When aggregate of variables in the sense, aggregate demand, aggregate supply. When we talk about microeconomics, we are talking about individual demand, we are talking about the market demand. But when we talk about macroeconomics, we are talking about aggregate demand or aggregate supply. So, coming to our point, unemployment, we study unemployment also under macroeconomics, and unemployment is due to lack of effective demand, which is basically due to your difference between your aggregate supply and aggregate demand. This is also a point of study under macroeconomics. Coming down to point number 3, for example, you can say in macroeconomics also we study about theory of general price level. This is one of the important aspects of macroeconomics that we study. Theory of general price level. When we speak about general price level, we must think that we are coming with the concept of inflation and deflation. So nowadays, every and each country, for example, focus on these things. For example, when you think about your general price level, it is related to inflation or deflation. As all of you know, for example, inflation is a case, inflation is a situation where general price level continuously rise over a long period of time. May I repeat once again? Inflation is a case, it is a situation where your general price level, for example, your general price tendency of the country rises over a long period of time. That is called inflation. So the concept of inflation will be clear when you talk about the relationship between money supply and, for example, rising price level, for example. So we can say there is a direct relationship between money supply and general price level. For example, if money supply rises in the economic system, for example, if RBI or from some other sources, for example, there is huge supply of money, then with the increase in money supply, with the rise of money supply, our demand also rises, people's income rises, our demand rises, and with the rise in demand also, price level also rises. So that leads to inflation. So we can clearly explain there is a positive relationship between your money supply and price level. If money supply rises and there is also rise in the price level, and if money supply falls, there is a fall in the general price level, which is known as deflation. So the positive trend, the rising trend, the rising relationship between money supply and price level is known as inflation. And the downtrend, for example, when money supply falls, that leads to also the fall in the general price level. It is a subject matter of deflation. Both inflation and deflation, both are the study under your macroeconomics, that is your theory of general price level. That comes as the next point to the study of macroeconomics. Explain further, macroeconomics also deals about your business cycles or business fluctuations. You know, every business activity must pass through some business fluctuations. Business activity cannot go normally throughout the time. They must pass from some ups and downs. For example, if we explain the concept of business cycle, then it will start from prosperity, then it reaches peak, then if in downturn it comes with recession, then it goes to depression. So every business activity, small or big, they must follow the process. Prosperity is the starting of uptrend in business activity. It reaches the peak or boom period or the uptrend. Then it starts downtrend, and the downtrend starts with recession, and the downtrend ends with depression. So your macroeconomics is also a study about business cycles, business fluctuation. What are the factors responsible for such type of fluctuation? What are the factors that pose a obstacles for such type of business fluctuations? This is also the subject matter of macroeconomics. Then also we can talk about in macroeconomics the international trade. This is one of the important part that we specially focus or specially study in macroeconomics. Trade are two types, you know, for example, one is your internal trade and one is your international trade. When it is internal trade within the country, trade inside the country is called internal trade or domestic trade or home trade. Trade between two countries, trade among countries is known as international trade, for example. In nowadays, for example, when you talk about macroeconomics, you must remember about two economies are there. One is your closed economy and one is your open economy, for example. First is your closed economy, then comes to your open economy. A closed economy is one where all type of your financial business transactions are being involved inside your country, for example. When you talk about open economy, then all type of financial transactions, all type of business transactions, not only limit to the domestic territory of only one country, but also it also extends over the outside the country. That is called open economy. So when you talk about international trade basically deals with your open economy. The operation of your economy, the mechanism of your economy, the dealing of your economic system with outside the world. This is called international trade. In international trade, for example, we can deal about the export import policies, the trades, the tariffs, for example, tariff barriers, all type of things we have to study under international trade, which is also one major component of studying the macroeconomics, for example. So coming down after that, for example, we have studied about economic growth and national income. We have studied about unemployment. We have studied about the theory of general price level that basically deals with inflation and deflation. We have also studied about business cycles or business fluctuations that I told you every business activity must pass through some business uptrend and downtrend. And also we have studied about international trade, which is basically related to the open economy of a country. When an economy involves outside transaction, this is called open economy. Explaining further, for example, we can study some other points about macroeconomics, and it comes to that your fiscal policy and budgetary deficit. In course of time, when you find, we will discuss about different macroeconomic policies. To reform the economic system of your country, we need major macroeconomic policies. When you talk about macroeconomic policy, especially you should focus that macroeconomic policies of a country mainly related to fiscal policy, and one more is your monetary policy. I am repeating once again, this is a major policy. For example, when you talk about macroeconomics, it is basically related to the macro policies are basically related to fiscal policy, and second point is your monetary policy. Fiscal policy is the policy implemented by central government of each and every country. Fiscal policy is the policy implemented by central government or government of the country. For example, this is a fiscal policy, the jurisdiction and the control belongs to the government. Whereas monetary policy, the responsibility lies with the central bank, not with the central government. Monetary policy is basically linked with central bank of the country, and fiscal policy is basically linked with the central government, for example. Whatever it may be, both are known as major macroeconomic policies. When we talk about macroeconomic policy, we must study about the two major macroeconomic policy. One is your fiscal policy, and second one is your monetary policy. But the point of difference is that fiscal policy is the policy implemented by central government of the country. Monetary policy is the policy implemented by central bank of the country. And point number two is that fiscal policy is basically relating to your budgetary provisions, for example, budgetary deficit, for example, because fiscal policy, when you talk about fiscal policy, obviously fiscal policy is a part of government. So when government comes, for example, when government finance comes, the finance of the government basically relate to tax and expenditure. When you talk about a country's finance, when you talk about the public finance, when you talk about the government finance is basically related to government revenue and government expenditure. I am repeating once again, government revenue and government expenditure are the two major sources of fiscal policy, which is a policy implemented by the government. So when you talk about government finance, then you must remember that government finance mainly deals with government revenue and government expenditure. Government revenue in the sense from where government is getting the income, government is getting the revenue, government is getting the income from different sources. For example, when you talk about government expenditure, you must remember it refers to the situation, it refers to the way under which government has to dispose its expenditure under different measures. For example, it has to make expenditure on education, it has to make expenditure on health, it has to make expenditure on defense purposes. So this is the part of government expenditure. When you talk about government revenue, then tax is the major part of government revenue. And apart from tax, for example, there are some other options for getting income, and the other options are, we can say fees, we can say penalties, we can say assets, all are part of government revenue. So fiscal policy is all about dealing with government revenue and government expenditure, and all are related to your budgetary deficit. So when a country comes with a financial year, it has to calculate that budgets, for example, then it comes with your surplus budget, or might be balanced budget, or might be deficit budget, for example. So we also study, we focus on fiscal policy, basically deals with budgetary deficit. Coming down to next point, for example, as I told you, monetary policy is a policy implemented by central bank of the country. And monetary policy is basically related to your interest rate, for example. As monetary policy is the jurisdiction, it is the control of central bank. Central bank will try to implement monetary policy with the cooperation, with the help of commercial banks. Central bank must have a control over commercial bank for the successful implementation of monetary policy. Monetary policy will not be successful if, for example, commercial banks are not being operating 100% with central bank. And monetary policy basically related to the rate of interest, for example, that is being charged by central bank under different segment, for example, over commercial bank. We have different types of rate. One is your cash reserve ratio, then we have SLR, state liquid ratio, then we have bank rate. Bank rate is the rate at which central bank charges rediscounts the bills of exchange, for example. So there are many ways under which central bank is linking to commercial bank for the open market charging interest rate. That is why I am telling monetary policy is a policy related to the rate of interest, and it is a policy exclusively implemented by central bank with the cooperation of commercial banks. Both fiscal policy and monetary policy have their own jurisdiction, but the common point is that both fiscal policy and monetary policy have the task to maintain price stability with economic growth, which is the ultimate objective of studying macroeconomics. This is your fiscal policy and monetary policy. Both have the objective of maintaining price stability with economic growth, which is the main objective of every country and macroeconomics like that. So we have studied the fiscal policy and monetary policy, for example. Then we have studied the economic growth, unemployment, theory of general price level, business cycle, international trade, weaknesses. So we have in general studied about different components of macroeconomics. Before that, in the starting of the class, I told you, I'm repeating once again, macroeconomics is nothing but it is a study of different economic variables in total. We are studying the complete economy as a whole under macroeconomics. It is the aggregate of economic variables like total income, like total saving, like total investment, like total employment, like total output. It is, for example, different from microeconomics in the sense, in microeconomics, we study about individual economic units like a farm, like an industry, like a consumer, like a producer. But when it comes to macroeconomics, we study the economy as a whole. We study the economy in total, which is basically the true sense of talking about macroeconomics.